Hi friends, welcome back to Calm the Chaos Homeschool. Today is video 3 of my reflections and reviews series that I'm doing here at the end of the school year. Today I'm going to be talking about my 8/9th graders curriculum and how everything went for her. Now last week I put up an overall reflection on the year and how things went, what was different than we expected, and sort of thoughts about next year. I also talked about our family subjects in that video. And then the last video I put up was talking about my 6th and 7th graders curriculum, what we did with them, and how things went there. And today's video is my 8/9th graders curriculum. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about my 9th graders curriculum, and my final video will be on my morning basket and how things went with our morning basket. So if you're interested in videos like that, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new here, my name is Davine, and I am currently finishing up the year with 4 students who are in 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Like I said, today I'm going to be talking about my 8/9th grader. I call her my 8/9th grader because she's technically in 8th grade, though she's been doing mostly 9th grade stuff this year. So you'll see that when I go through all of her curriculum, and I'll sort of talk about maybe I'll talk about how I'm going to work that out as far as her credits and things like that. But before I get into all that, I do want to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Legacy Online School. Now, I have done a full comprehensive video talking about Legacy Online School, and I will link that video below. So if you want to get a whole bunch of information about this school, you'll want to check that video out. It is quite comprehensive. It shows the insides of the student portal and things like that. My daughter did use Legacy Online School for one of her credits in this past school year, and I will be talking more about our personal experience with that towards the end of this video because that's where that subject will come up. But I do want to let you know a little bit about Legacy Online School right now in case it's something that might fit a need that you currently have. So Legacy Online School is a private online school that is very flexible. They have a wide range of course offerings. They offer part-time and full-time enrollment. They offer self-paced courses. They offer online courses as a group, and they also offer one-on-one support. So whatever you're looking for your student, it's very possible that they will have something that will work for you. So if you're homeschooling and you want a few classes taken on by another teacher, or you want a self-paced course or something like that, it is worth looking into Legacy Online School. And if you're not sure if you want to take on homeschooling completely on your own, it is worth looking into Legacy Online School. One of the things I like about it is very affordable as far as schools go. I have looked into different private schools, and this one has, like I said, it's very flexible, so you can choose how many classes you want to take, whether you want to do part-time or full-time. And then, of course, if it's one-on-one, it's going to cost a little more than the group sessions, but there's a wide range of options for you to choose from. Tuition starts for as low as $149 for certain plans, and it does go up from there based on how much you plan on using their program. Legacy Online School has kindergarten through high school programs. They also offer an IEP program, so you with kids that need some more support, they also do have ways to do that. It is a fully accredited school, so it is part of a school. It is not technically homeschooling if you join them. It is a school, it is an accredited program, and your child will receive a diploma when they graduate from Legacy Online School. They have a few new programs that they have recently added. Through their new student leadership program, your child would have the opportunity to take on leadership roles in virtual online clubs, engage in community projects, and receive mentorship from professionals in various fields. They also have started offering virtual field trips. And so just like if a child was in a class, they have field trips that go along with the curriculum that they are learning. So they will have the opportunity to virtually visit different sites and have Q&As with professionals in whatever field they are studying. They have also recently added some college and career guidance. So your high school students will have guidance throughout their high school years as far as choosing the right classes, taking the SATs, and trying to figure out what they want to do in the future. They do have counselors and online support for that. They also are currently accepting a broader range of scholarships. So if you're interested in checking out Legacy Online School, I would look into scholarships. Perhaps a scholarship in your state would work with them. So definitely check that out if this is something you're interested in trying out. If your child is interested in things like dual enrollment or AP classes, honors classes, they do have a wide range of different courses. When I went on to look for a course for my daughter to take, I was very impressed with the wide range of courses that they have offered. They do use curriculum from various places. So basically it's a school, but they choose curriculum from different places to use with their program. Your child will also have options of joining some extracurriculars at the end of their school day. And so I do mention that a lot more in my first video. So if you want more information on Legacy Online School, I encourage you to go watch that video. Like I said, I will link that below. If you do end up signing up for Legacy Online School, I do have a coupon code. I will put it right here. It's Davine10, and you will get 10% your first month. So you can try it out for 1 month with 10% off. They do offer trial classes, and you can definitely talk to a consultant before you sign up for Legacy Online School. So if this is something you're interested in, like I said, I will put the link to Legacy Online School below. I will also link my video where I go more in depth, show more of the background information, show the website a bit more, talk about more of the features. I do recommend you check that out if you are interested in something like this. So I have a huge pile of curriculum on the floor to go through with you today. So first of all, like I said, today I'm talking about my 8/9th grader. Really, all of these for sure are 9th grade curriculum. I do plan on giving her credits for all of these, other than maybe her English. Her English is sort of borderline as far as whether or not it deserves a 9th grade credit. Everything else is a 9th grade credit. So what I'm doing with that is I am rolling some of these into next year. I'm not finishing the whole course. So some of the things I will give her in 8th grade as a 9th grade credit, some she will get in 9th grade. Maybe I'll talk about those as we go through what I'm showing you here. So for devotions this year, personal devotions, she did these 3 things. This is the main things that she did. This is not for credit. This is just personal devotion time. So she started the year with this: You Are Beautiful and Courageous, a devotional journal for girls. It is a bit on the younger side, I would say. I don't want to show you her work, but basically it has a page like that, and then she would write a response. So I would say this is probably good for tweens and young teens. And I just thought it was cute and I wanted to get it done as soon as possible. So she finished that one up first. The next thing she picked out of my pile of girl devotionals was Lies Young Women Believe and the Truth That Sets Them Free. I think she picked it because she remembers lies, I think it was Young Girls Believe or something like that. And so I think she liked that. So she picked that up. And so she did that devotional on her own. And then the last one she did was 31 Girl by Mary Simpson. So this one. And I think she picked it because just the colors and stuff like that. So she went through that on her own. She didn't really tell me about what she felt about these, so I can't really share that, but those are the things that she did. And then now she's doing something just on her own. So next for math, she was going through, or is going through, Denison Algebra 1. We are not finished this. We are on unit 15 out of 17. And so she still has a few units left, maybe 12 lessons and tests, and then the final exam. And so what happened with this? So she did do pre-algebra last year. So I thought she was ready for Algebra 1. She has struggled with it, even though Denison is known to be for struggling students. She has struggled with this. This is their regular level. It is not their success version, which would be, I guess, simpler. It's hard to know. She's very smart and she's able to do a lot of things. And so math is just not her strength. So I'm always struggling on whether or not I should put her in their regular or in their success level. Now she is a bit ahead. Like I said, she's in 8th grade and she's doing Algebra 1. So that's a bit ahead in math. And so what I decided was at this point, I'm just going to slow math down a bit. So we get this, you get a 1-year subscription, but they really give you 15 months. And so I figured out when the end of 15 months would be, and I'm going to try to finish it right at the end of the 15-month subscription. So she has a few months into the new school year to finish up the last 2 units of this. And then I just might be doing some Algebra 1 review for a while before we start Denison geometry. I do like Denison. She has said that this has been the best math that she has done up until this point, and she's done a lot of different kinds of math. She's had quite the math journey. So she does like Denison the most out of all the math that she's done, and I'm like, oh good, because this is kind of the last straw, the last final thing that I think will work for us for math. So she is going to finish this up, and then we have had to pick up a few additional resources to help her with this math. So the first one I got was 100 days of, it wasn't algebra, it was 100 days of order of operations. That was where our first sticking point was, the order of operations. So I went ahead and got this version of the order of operations. We went through, I had her do like every 5th lesson until it started getting hard, and then I had her finish up the book for order of operations. So we did that for a while. And then in algebra, when we got to the graphing, I think it was graphing part, where things started to get a little bit more tricky for her, I picked up 100 Days of Algebra, and I basically went and I looked for all of the graphing areas, and I had her sort of alternate days doing that, just to try to figure out the graphing part. So there's actually a lot of this book left that we have not used. So what I'm thinking is, after she's finished her Denison Algebra 1, I might have her just go through this book and finish up all the pages that we haven't done yet as a review to try to solidify her algebra knowledge before we move on into geometry. And then plan on maybe taking 15 months for geometry and just kind of rolling her credits into the next year. So basically, I will give her an Algebra 1 credit in her 9th grade year, because that's when we will finish Algebra 1. And then in her 10th grade year, she'll get a geometry credit because that's when we'll finish her geometry, etc. So I hope that makes sense. Even though she's finishing at the beginning of the year, I'll give her credit for that year at that time. So I do like that about homeschooling. We don't have to start and stop at the very beginning of the year to the very end of the year. We can just roll with it. So I kind of like that. And so I'm going to take advantage of that. Okay, so next let's cover language arts and what she did in language arts. Her main language arts this year was cover story. I do have a video showing cover story, so I will link that below. You can check that out. This highly emphasizes creative writing. The whole premise of this is that you are creating a magazine, writing magazine articles. It does cover things like poetry, but it has like narrative stories, and it has a lot of creative writing. So I think she really liked this in that it is a creative writing program. She does like creative writing a lot more than other kinds of writing. So I'll let you go watch that video if you want more information about cover story. I did give some tips on how to schedule it out and things like that, things I wasn't aware of when I first started cover story. Yeah, so it'd be beneficial to go check that out if you're curious about cover story. It is intended for 7th through 9th grade, so you can use it for middle school or you can use it for high school. So that's sort of where I'm at with. I'm not sure if I'm giving her an English 1 credit or not this school year. One piece of cover story is this, The Remarkable Journey, and this is just creative writing prompts. So they just go through this every day and write down a few things, jot down a few things to kind of keep their creative juices flowing. So that is part of the cover story curriculum. Another thing she did for language arts was Wordly Wise. She finished up book 8 and has started book 9. She has finished about, lesson 7. We don't do this every day. We might do it every other day. And so, yeah, I'm not in a hurry to finish this up. We might just finish this up next year. So she's currently there. She's in number 7. I did pick up the teacher resource book. It is quite expensive, so I don't suggest you do it, but my parent partnership program picked it up for me. And that does have some additional review, and it also has some tests in there. And so I'm sort of having her go through the review and the tests at this point to catch up to where she is in her lessons. I sort of forgot I had that. So next year I will continue with this, and I'll add in the reviews and the tests as she finishes each chapter. What I do like about Wordly Wise is just the variety of words that it teaches, the different contexts that it teaches. I think it's really good like for SAT sort of prep. So I do use this with her and 2 other kids in my family. Now, what she used for grammar this year was Fix It Grammar. She is on level 3, Robin Hood. So we recently finished that up. We are moving into level 4. I would say it's not her favorite, but it is short and to the point. Grammar doesn't take forever. I do assign it every other day, and I just give her 2 lessons each day. They do have a 4-day week, and it's very easy to get 2 lessons done in a day. So that's what I do whenever I assign this. So I probably alternate between Fix It Grammar and Wordly Wise, and then she'll have cover story, and then she has her literature reading and narration and things like that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is history. And so for history, she has been doing Guest Hollow's Whirlwind World History. She is working on half of this because they do the whole world history in 1 year, and I really love world history. And so we are doing a combination of Guest Hollow's Whirlwind World History with Bookshark Level G. Bookshark Level G is ancient and medieval history. And what we use from that portion is we use a lot of the read alouds and readers for supplementing the history. And then she is mostly doing this as her primary history. So what she does is she goes online. They have an online textbook, and then she fills out the worksheets in here. So that's what she does on her own. And then I assign her some of the read alouds and readers from Bookshark G. And so she's always reading either a history book, or sometimes I throw in a science book, or sometimes she's reading a geography book as her literature. And so I just sort of prioritize which books I want her to read, and I'll schedule that in her weekly checklist and sort of assign her the chapters. And then what she does is she does a written narration every other day on what she's reading. She likes to type that up. And so at this point, when she finishes a book, she types up her narration, or she's typing up her narration as she goes. And when she finishes the book, she emails it to me. And so that has been what has worked best for us for written narration this school year. At first, I had her using a notebook, but she got very tired of writing in a notebook. So she asked if she could type them. And so I said yes. So that is how we are doing it now. So Guest Hollow not only has the online textbook and workbook, but it also does give some suggestions for other books to read. Some books that she has read in addition to the online workbook for Whirlwind World History has been things like Augustus Caesar's World, the Viking Handbook, and currently she's reading Samurai Rising. And then there's another book, I think it's a graphic depiction of Chinese history, and it is a series. And I'll try to put a picture up here to show you what that looks like, but I forgot the name of that. So she's going through some of those as well. One other thing that I have her do as part of the Guest Hollow history is at the end of every week, I add in a 6th day. So on that 6th day, she is working on her book of centuries. And she is using these resources that are scheduled out in Guest Hollow. We have Art That Changed the World and History of the World in 1,000 Objects. So she will read the assigned readings for that for the week. And then she will add in some pictures or drawings of the items during those times, and then write a little bit on the other side. So here's a blank page. I don't want to show her work, but she can draw an artifact or thing there, and then she can write about that artifact in the right year, corresponding year. If you're interested in books like this, like the Book of Centuries, it's like a timeline. It's just set up a little differently. I do have some of these with different covers on Amazon, so I will put a link to those below if you're interested in adding that into your child's history. I will also link all of these resources below if you want to take a look at anything that I mention. Yes, check out the description box below. It'll all be there. Another thing that we are doing very casually, it is not technically one of her credits this last year, was geography. We are continuing with Guest Hollow's high school geography and cultures curriculum. This year, we have focused on Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands, Oceania, things like that. And so that is something we do like once a week. So probably about once a week she went on, she read the online textbook and filled out the workbook for geography for those portions. And then she's also been reading some books that have to do with the different areas of the world that we have been studying this year. So that hasn't really been for a credit this year. Eventually she will get a world geography credit, but it's just something we're working on over several years. And when we have finished it, I will give her the world geography credit. We do spend a lot of time as a family going through Guest Hollow's YouTube links that cover the various areas of the world that we are studying. And so that is also part of sort of our family stuff. And so she's involved in that when we're doing lunch and we're just watching videos on different countries and cultures. So for science this year, she has been doing Guest Hollow's high school chemistry in the kitchen. Now, when I started this, I knew that we wouldn't get through the whole thing. I was trying to get through maybe 2/3 of this. Turns out we got through half of this. Some of the reasons are, one, she had a 2-hour chemistry course at our parent partnership program. And so she learned a lot of the basics and fundamentals of chemistry in that course. And so I figured with 2 hours doing that course, she really only needed to spend about 3 hours a week on this for the rest of the time. So she got about halfway through this, and I've decided I'm going to spend all of next year finishing this up. That being said, she has done a ton of chemistry and a ton of science, and she does deserve 2 credits for it. So what I've decided to do is when she is finished next year, she is going to have a chemistry with lab credit, and she's going to have a culinary science course. So that's not going to have the lab, but I'm going to call it culinary science because of all the different things that she is creating and making out of this course. Now, one thing I don't feel like I did very good at all this year was the labs. And so in order to make this chemistry with a lab, next year I have bought some resources and I'm going to be very intentional in making sure that she is completing labs as she goes through the remainder of this course. Now, this course is not online. It does not have an online textbook. It's a little different from the other high school Guest Hollows that we have used, but it uses books to teach chemistry. And so it's a living book sort of way of learning chemistry. So I had to return her science books to our parent partnership program because they're doing a big inventory this year. So I couldn't keep the science books to show you, but I'll try to put pictures of them up here. But the books that she has used so far this year for this chemistry have been Ellen McHenry's The Elements, Ingredients of the Universe. That was an introduction, sort of supplementary. They have a 4-week supplement if you haven't learned a lot of chemistry, and she hadn't learned a lot of chemistry, so we did do that. The 4th week of that supplement, they used The Joy of Chemistry, so she read that. Then she's been using Culinary Reactions, Dr. Joe and What You Didn't Know, Napoleon's Buttons, How 17 Molecules Changed History. She read The Story of Salt, What Einstein Told His Cook, Louis Pasteur, founder of modern medicine. She's listening to Bad Science, Quacks, Hacks, and Big Pharma Flax. That is on EverAnd. I do want to let you know about EverAnd if you don't know. They have such a large variety of ebooks and audiobooks, and I really love to use them. I do have a referral code I'll put below. You can get 2 months of EverAnd for free if you try that out. I find so many audiobooks on EverAnd. We use it daily in our homeschool. So just wanted to let you know if that's something you're not aware of. If you like audiobooks, we can't always get audiobooks from the library, and we often have to return our audiobooks before we are finished because we only get them for 3 weeks, and sometimes we spread it out over a term. So EverAnd has really saved us as far as a lot of our books have been on EverAnd this year. So I want to let you know about that. So check that out if you're interested in a 2-month free trial. And then right before we had to give the books back, she started What Einstein Kept Under His Hat. And so she will continue with the living books that they have scheduled in Guest Hollow's Chemistry in the Kitchen for her chemistry next year. And she'll continue to do the baking projects and making things and get her culinary science credit as well. One thing that I had her reading towards the end of the school year, just because we had to return all those books, I got this from the library. So this is one of the recommended additional books. We have Trinity, the graphic history of the first atomic bomb. And so they do have a lot of graphic novels scheduled in Guest Hollow. They just use a variety of books. They have big fat books. They have little picture books. They have graphic novels. There's just a large variety when you use Guest Hollow curriculum. And that's just something that is fun. Just fun to have some variety in our homeschool. So as she is reading those books that I mentioned, she is filling out the worksheets. that come with Guest Hollow. So they do have worksheets, which is nice. So you sort of know that they have to read to fill out the worksheets. So I do like that about Guest Hollow as well, especially in the high school years. Sometimes it's hard to know if your kids are doing the readings that are assigned when you do a literature-based approach. And so having the workbooks just adds a little layer of accountability. And so I do like that. Okay, so she has also been doing some electives this year. Quite a few, quite a few electives. We finished up Beyond Personal Finance. I don't want to drag that book out. I'll put a picture here. We finished that. That is a 20-week course on personal finance. We are also doing Evan Moore's financial literacy for 6th to 8th graders. So that's something we do as a group. So what I'm probably going to do is throughout the years, I'll probably add some more financial literacy things, and eventually she'll get a financial literacy or personal finance credit, but I'm not ready to give it to her yet. But that course probably could have been enough for a half credit, but I just want to keep adding to that. I think personal finance is just so important. So she's done that as an elective, but I'm not giving her a credit for it quite yet. Another elective that she did throughout the year for half a credit is art. And so she has been using Artistic Pursuits, drawing with water-soluble and graphite pencils. Let me know if you want to flip through this. I was supposed to return it to my parent partnership program, but it wasn't in my account. It's like they didn't check it out. So I will give it back, I guess, at the end of the summer. But that was a fun course, and she learned how to sketch and draw more realistic figures. And this is a high school level art course for half a credit. It does have 9 units, and each unit has 4 lessons. So that is for a half credit. Another kind of fun thing that I just added that I assign her every so often is this Watercolor with Me in the Forest. And basically they have sketches, but then they tell you how to use watercolor to replicate the picture. So they have sketches like this, very faint lines. And then when the student is done, this is her work. So that's their example, and then that's her work. So really, really cute, beautiful ones. I just let her pick whichever one she wants. So let's see, there's another one that she did. So she did those flowers. Yeah, so she's been doing some watercolor as well. And that's just kind of for fun. I will give her that half credit for art for this last year. And then she got to do 2 courses with Film School for Teens. So that is online video lessons. They have a huge variety of courses, so great for electives. So she did photography for teens first semester, and I do have a full look inside of this. I'll put that below. And she did YouTube for teens this last semester. Also did a full video on that, so you can look at that below. She enjoyed both of those courses. Those are fun electives to add on. And finally, this year, she got her first credit for Chinese 1 or Mandarin Chinese 1. Now, we started that a long time ago. She's been learning Mandarin. We've been doing it as a group for several years. And then she started learning it more on her own last year. And then this year, I was just trying to finish it up. I think we did about 6 more months, and then we sort of took a break because she just had a lot of things going on. And so the last 6 months of her Mandarin Chinese, we used Legacy Online School. Now, I was mixing and matching and piecing together my own Chinese curriculum, and that was a lot of work, and I had to really be involved in that. And I really, though I speak Mandarin, I just don't have time for that right now. Homeschooling 4 kids, and then having 2 kids that are still very need me most of the day to be directing their work, my middle school boys. It's just really hard for me to find a lot of time to sit down with my high school girls, including this 8th grader. So Legacy Online School reached out to me early on in the school year, and I took a look at their stuff. And the Mandarin Chinese, they have Mandarin Chinese 1, 2, 3, and 4 as offerings in high school. And so that really appealed to me, and I really wanted to try that out. So she did half of Mandarin 1 with Legacy Online School. And so what I really liked about that was taking the burden off of me. She had a large variety of assignments. It was easy to follow. There were very easy to follow lessons. It was online. It was self-paced. She just sort of read through the material. They had quizzes. She had to record herself saying things. She had a teacher who was marking her work. And so sometimes she had assignments where she had to record the answers. Sometimes she had multiple choice where it was graded right away. Sometimes she had to make a diagram or write Chinese and send a picture to her teacher, and the teacher would grade it and give it back. And so what I really liked about that was just having a different teacher be responsible for evaluating her Mandarin Chinese, and then the variety of lessons that she had, the variety that she had within the lessons. I didn't feel like I could prepare that for her myself. So we did have a really good experience with that Legacy Online School course. And I told you this in the video that I made on Legacy Online School. I was really impressed with the wide range of options that they have for high school. So I do recommend you check that out if you're looking into high school and you do want to take a few lessons off of your plate. I would definitely look into Legacy Online School, see what they have to offer, see if your kid might be interested in those. I really appreciate just being able to give some of these things to someone else to take care of with my kids, because I can't be the one responsible for everything for all of my kids. So like I said, I have a discount code. I'll put it here, Davine10. You can get 10% off a trial with them. Yeah, so check that out. And if you want to see more about Legacy Online School, check out the video that I made and check out the link to take you to Legacy Online School to take a look at their website and things like that. And definitely reach out if you're interested and you have any questions. They will be happy to chat with you. So that is what my 8th/9th grader did last year. I bet I forgot something. I bet I didn't even cover it all. It's a lot. She's able to handle a lot. She's able to do a lot of this on her own, which is very helpful that she's able to do that, because like I said, my middle schoolers take a lot of my time. But yeah, so that is what she did. And we are rolling a few of these things into the upcoming school year. And I'm just giving her credits as she finishes these things off. So thank you for coming today. I hope this video was informative. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what your 8th/9th graders were doing this year. How did your homeschool year go? Come back next time to find out what my 9th grader was doing this year and how everything went for her, and then what we did in our morning basket and how things went there this school year. So thanks for coming today, and I hope to see you all in a future video. Bye, everyone.